It's we get John.
That's a good sign. Let's turn on the audio. That'll probably be good too. Is on. We're buffering. I hear myself talking.
Mr. Ennis over there. Yeah, I'll go right down the line. I see Mr. Ennis in the audience and Mr. Vanderpool out there. You see Pete out in the audience? Is he around the corner there? No, on the left. I can't see who John's talking with. I can't see who John's talking with. Oh, there's Pete over there.
Anthony.
Mosey on up. Supervisor.
Hey, Stephen. Had a Laura passed it very well. That's over there. Okay, she's the superintendent after this, and I went by to see her the other day.
Yeah.
She told me that she's new. I said, well, I won't hold you up. I think Jean's very pleased to tell you about her family history because
Good morning. Welcome to the September 22nd Board of Supervisors meeting. Would you please stand with me as we pledge allegiance to the flag and remain standing for a moment of silence? Ready? Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Be seated. We will go to our first item this morning, which is public comments. It's time for the public to address the board on items that are under our purview but are not necessarily on today's agenda. If you have an item you'd like to discuss with the board, we have a 3-minute timer up. We'll allow 3 minutes to each speaker and a total of 15 minutes for the public comment. So if you have a public comment, please step forward. I do have one request from a Margie Davidian. Yes, either one works.
3 minutes.
And go ahead and pull that microphone right down to you.
Good
There
morning,
you go.
gentlemen.
Good morning.
So 3 minutes. Well, Steve Worthley knows me, and he would probably think 3 minutes is not going to make it. But I have a daughter that we were asked to take when she was 8 months of age, and it was under a permanent legal guardianship. We also had a petition for adoption in Tulare County. 2 years later, the biological family wanted her back for various reasons, and it was the longest custody battle in Tulare County history. So the judge in this case stated that we should probably wait until things cool down later to go for the adoption. Anyway, the child has done very well. My daughter has done very well through the years, and just a delight. When she became 16 years old, she got mixed up in the wrong crowd and got involved in drugs and other things. I found out in California, you don't really have any rights to put your child anywhere you can put them there, but they can walk out as soon as you leave. So I didn't have any other recourse but to try to find another state. And I started networking with mothers throughout the United States, and I found a place in Utah. And I had quit work 2 years prior to this because I needed to stay home with her. And I had never, ever received any aid for her through all those years because I was working and I didn't feel that was right. But I didn't also want her to be penalized without a car like her sister and everything had. So I asked for this. So she had a social worker for those 2 years. And I called the social worker and told her what was going on with my daughter. And I told her I had found a place. She had me come down there and we looked at it. She looked on the internet and did some research and she loved it. We had a meeting then, she said, a committee meeting on April the 9th. And so I go down there and she says, we've already met and we've already approved everything. We love this place and we want to send her there. There was no time period that they said that she was going to get to go there. The program actually goes for 10 months. They can actually keep them there over 18, but that wasn't what we were going to do. So we got our first report back, and then he said, don't worry, we have been in contact with them. You don't have to worry, we're taking care of the payment that way, so you won't have to receive any payment and then send it back there. We got the first report. It was terrible. They said if this child were to come home at this time, she would go spiral down more and more damage would be done to her. And we can't guarantee what would happen to her. Is that my 3 minutes?
No, go ahead.
Is that my 3 minutes?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. And so we left her there because I couldn't bring her home like that. And they told me, her social worker said, make a big packet with all the things and everything that you've tried in Tulare County, every therapist you've taken her to, every resource that you use to try to help this child in this county. And I spent a lot of time on this, and I took it down to this social worker, and then I found out that Renee Smiley was the director of this program on Mooney. And I said, well, I'm just going to take it over to her right now. And she goes, no, I'll take it over to her. Well, I found out months later that it never left that office. And all these reports that showed how bad my daughter was and what kind of condition never got to her. And when Renee Smiley found out that they had even approved it, she was very upset because she said she's not adopted and she's under a guardianship, and we don't do that. The funny thing is, 2 weeks after my daughter went to this place in St. George, Utah, 2 other people, because they knew about this place now, 2 other children who were adopted in Tulare County, got sent back there and got the full payment immediately, Red Rock told me, and they just didn't understand why my daughter, who I found this place, what was the difference. And I did hear the ladies say, the social workers say, that if we send Sarah Davidian down there, then maybe we can set a precedent within this county that guardianship children can get the same kind of care that other children get. Now, of course, I have a big bill.
Can I ask you to come to a conclusion? Because what I'm going to do, I think probably with the approval of the board, is I'm going to look over at my Health and Human Service Director and have him come back to us in a week with a full report on this.
Okay.
You're hitting this supervisor for the first time, and as you know, we can hear you out, but we're not able to make any type of decision or really give any direction other maybe than to tell a director to return and report to us with further information. So
okay.
I ask you to wrap up, because I can tell you that's what we're going to do, because we're not going to be able to solve this as we sit here today.
I understand. So then I would be in contact with some other person and with all the information I have?
You'll receive contact from either my office.
Okay.
I say my office. When I say my, I'm looking at the 5 of us. I call my office our office, or the Health and Human Service Agency, which would be Mr. John Davis, and he's going to raise his right hand. There he is. Okay. The buck stops either there or here, and you'll hear from either one of us within a week.
Okay.
And do you have, I'm going to use this as the information to contact you. Is all of your contact
Yes.
information here?
Except my phone number, I believe.
And that is?
It's 349-7388.
349-7388.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Is there anyone else wishing to address the board at this time during public comment period? Seeing none, we'll come back to Board of Supervisor matters. Supervisor Ennis.
Yes, we had a mosquito abatement district meeting yesterday, and I think we're ready to go ahead with our survey. Tulare Mosquito Abatement District is willing to put the money up to have the survey printed. Porterville wanted to see what it looked like, so hopefully we'll have that, get it to them so they can go forward. And we'll be sending that out in the future, and if we get back at least 60% or better, then those people will be on the ballot, and if people don't want it, then they won't be on the ballot. So moving a little forward to southeastern Tulare County, which comprises Lindsay, Strathmore, Porterville, Terabella, Springville, Ducor, and all the unincorporated areas surrounding. So that's it. And also what I'd like to do is this morning is wish happy birthday to my grandson, Pete Vanderpool. He's 25.
And I'm going to assume Supervisor Worthley will start the song when it comes to this.
We had a meeting yesterday of the Kings-Tulare County Agency on Aging, and what's very evident is that because of the budget shortfalls, we are experiencing losing a lot of funding for programs for the elderly. So just, you'll probably see some news articles in the future, but we're doing the best we can, and we're not sure if we have the same amount of money today as we will have in 90 days when the state probably will have to redo their budget. Last week, Supervisor Ennis and I went to the water rally out at close to Harris Ranch in Lemoore, and it was a great rally. There were a lot of people there, and Hannity reran his program on Sunday, and we're starting to get a lot of national attention about our water issues in California. Saturday evening, I had the pleasure of going to the Pops in the Park put on by the Symphony. It was an excellent program, and it really showcased the talent that we have in Tulare County. And I was very pleased, and I hope the Symphony showcases more talent from Tulare County. And that's all I have.
Mr. Chairman, I guess first and foremost, I wanted to be sure we mention the passage in Maples, and that there will be a public service held this coming Saturday in Porterville to the Church of the Nazarene at 1 o'clock, and the public is invited to attend that. I know that Assemblyperson Conway will be there to speak, and I've been asked to speak on behalf of the board. Also, yesterday we had a meeting in Fresno at the Farm Bureau concerning future meeting with the governor on the Williams Mac subvention problem, and it was a good meeting. Went over the presentation. The governor's office was present there to represent the governor, and took an active role in the meeting and the strategy that we will be going forward with. We don't have a date and time yet to meet with the governor, but it's one of those sorts of things that might be, can we see you in an hour? Type of thing. It could be very short notice, but the hope is that it'll be one of his events where he's coming through the valley that we'll be able to come together. And the plan is to have 1 or 2 members of each board of supervisor from the 9 counties that are in this region, and some strategic other folks that would also be with us to make the case for continuing this subvention. I would be glad to lead a song for Happy Birthday for Mr. Vanderpool. I have to say that at last year's conference, we were at a table, and I introduced him as my son. And afterwards, I had more people come to me and say, "Isn't that nice, the father and son on the same board of supervisors?" So if you will all be glad to join me in singing Happy Birthday to Pete, let's start with Happy Birthday to you, Happy Birthday to you, Happy Birthday, dear Pete, Happy Birthday to you, and many more.
Only in Tulare.
Well, so much for that being a secret, so thank you very much. I appreciate that. That's very nice.
I did ask his mother for a picture of him in a sink, and I'm hoping to see it come up any moment now.
Okay.
Our clerk is looking like, well, I didn't know this.
The only comment that I have this morning is I just want to congratulate the Tulare County Fair for a wonderful event. I went last Thursday to the Taste of the Fair event, and seeing as how I'm trying to watch my weight, so to speak, so that I don't grow out of my suits, I only ate one deep-fried Snickers bar, and it was very good. So their food was excellent, and according to the CEO, Jeff Hines, the fair attendance was up after the first day, and that's a wonderful testament to all the work that he does and all the work that fair board does to make that fair a successful event for our county. So congratulations, and I hope that the total attendance at the end of the event was also up as well. So thank you.
That's the very reason I stayed away from the fair this year. I'm on a diet. Only thing I have is we have received a confirmation letter from the Council of Cities choosing October 1st, which is next Thursday, as the day to meet jointly with the Board of Supervisors team, which is Supervisor Wardley and myself. We are going to post this as a public meeting for the press because we have other council members as well as other supervisors that have expressed interest in attending. So there's a possibility all 5 supervisors could be there at the meeting. There's a possibility 25 to 30 electeds from the cities could show up as well. So we will be posting that as a public meeting that will be held here in our A&B conference room. We look forward to finalizing some very important details with our fellow board members and council members and with the cities. That concludes that item, and we're not going to make the world's quickest board meeting, which would be 1 more minute from now. So we're going to go to our one and only untimed item, item 13, which is has been requested to be placed on there by Supervisor Ishida. Mr. Smalley will be the presenter. I know everybody was wishing to jump up out of here with the passage of the consent calendar, but I think this high-speed rail is an important enough issue that we all need to spend a couple of minutes listening.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Board. Ted Smalley, Director, Tulare County Association of Governments. Before you is action item regarding the high-speed rail. Just very quick background that when the stimulus was passed, or as you can see in there, the American Recovery Reinvestment Act, there was $8 billion contained in that bill for high-speed rail. California, as a state, is farther along than any other state in the union, and there will be a significant effort by the state of California through the High-Speed Rail Authority to apply for most, if not all, that money. As part of that effort, the High-Speed Rail Authority conducted at one of their meetings a review of the potential application. Staff recommended at that meeting that the 2 main projects in the valley, which are Fresno to Bakersfield and Merced to Fresno, be included as part of the grant application. At the meeting, however, Chairman Kurt Pringle went against staff recommendations and suggested that only one of the 2 segments be submitted. As a result, the Valley has had significant meetings, and I think it's a testament to how well we work as a Valley that all 8 counties have came together through both the leadership of the partnership and the leadership of the Policy Council to all be united and say both of those segments should be included in the application. And action has been taken by the Policy Council to formally make that recommendation. The partnership has formally made that recommendation. Yesterday, TCAG Board made that recommendation along with, I imagine most of our cities are either trailing or have done it. So with that, we would recommend to the Board of Supervisors that you likewise take action. The only suggestion I would have is on the resolution that we would include the sentence, and so it's not implied but known, that at the therefore includes the statement, including an alignment that could accommodate a possible future Visalia Tulare Hanford high-speed rail stop as recommended by the High-Speed Rail Authority staff on September 3rd. And so by adding that, we again make it very clear that the expectation that we want a stop here, either in the Hanford-Visalia area. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
Mr. Chairman, just a comment. One of the critical things about this, as I understand it, is that there's a term, I forget what it is, but it has to have sort of a standalone value, you might say, so that it's not just...
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't
Go
mean-
ahead.
Independent utility is the term.
Independent utility. And the reason that I am supportive of this is really for that reason and that reason alone. The ability to use this trackage could be used right now for our Amtrak system, and essentially it's like an effort of almost like double tracking. So because of the fact it could be utilized in that fashion, because I'm no huge fan of the bullet train as a burden to the taxpayers of California looking forward, but I can see where this could have a benefit independent of that, so that's why I would support this resolution.
You have the proposed language to hand to our clerk, Ted, for the added
I can.
as, okay.
Move approval of,
Moved by Ishida,
Second.
seconded by Ennis. We're going as amended by, suggested by Mr. Smalley, is unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Smalley. We will now go to our consent calendar. Item number 11 is off agenda. Are there any other items that need to be pulled by the Board of Supervisors for separate consideration by the public or department heads? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move approval.
Second.
Moved by Vanderpool, seconded by Ennis. It's unanimous. We do have closed session to attend yet still today, Council?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we do. We have items A through F on your board's closed session agenda. I do not anticipate any announcements.
Thank you very much. We are going to adjourn to closed session.
Close enough.